Okay, it might be working.
Am I
Do-do-do.
alive?
I don't know.
Misfit Scully is here. Yeah, I think we're on. This is the old Doctor Who show, episode number 147. There's some debate about what number we actually are.
It's
Because
147, folks. It's
I
great.
went
Here we
over
go.
to our schedule page, and sure enough, it says this is 144, I think. But then if you go by the art assets that I made, it says it's 147. So folks at home, number fans, fans of sequential, I was going to say sequential sequences, because I am a genius. I don't know what we are. I don't even know if this is happening, but it's here. It's finally here. The end of the old Doctor Who show as you know it. We've talked about the double suicide. Is that going to happen? Do we have a jars of Kool-Aid on the ready?
Eric, I'm hearing so many delays of our conversation. It's a full second behind. Wait, it may have stopped. Nope, here it comes again. Technical difficulties. Give us 1 second, folks. Let's try this. Let's see if you can hear me now. Trying again. Nope. Anyone? Anyone? Nope.
Yeah, and now I see a yes. Now it's also delayed. So we'll be seeing the reactions and then we'll be undoing the thing that works. So hopefully it sticks with the yes. And then that's the end. All right, I'm going to pretend none of that happened. Dan, we are back. This is the old Doctor Who show. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, you're supposed to be introing us with a proper theme song, correct? Dan's having some problems now. I look over and you can see his soul leaving his body. All of it is. You sound fine. You can't go by the AirPods. AirPods are the devil's business. Do you have regular headphones available? Oh no, it says now Dan's gone. Well, it could be a just the ESG show. We've lost Dan. He is just a ghost, a phantom, a shadow of his former self. Dan, I had all these things to talk about. I had actually listened to our first podcast today, which is not great. But now I can't talk to you about it because you've gone quiet. You can't use AirPods. AirPods are the
This is
worst.
the fucking craziest thing I've ever seen. This is nuts. Can't hear a thing. Nothing. It's all gone now. It's all gone. I've quit.
All right, where do you have your? Okay, can you
This
hear
is so
me?
bad. This is so bad.
Dan's back again. Dan's back again. Oh, it's a
Can't hear a
Christmas
thing. This
miracle.
is this is this is great. I've lost
You have
all
regular
control
headphones?
of everything.
Okay. Well, that was our show. Dan has walked away. I'll take some listener questions. If you get this, you got to understand that I am seeing the delayed chat. So you're hearing me from the past. But if you type a question into the chat while Dan is away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you got to use regular headphones.
Well,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let's see if anyone in the...
Paul just said, I think nuts working. Oh, no, that's not nuts. That's Utz working. I think we're good. You can hear us?
I'm also got to check the GarageBand. That's still going as well.
GarageBand is still going. Chat fans, just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down verb with
Oh
letters.
my gosh, this is actually working? It can't be working.
So can we start again? Okay. Hit the theme, Dan.
Wait, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, well,
I haven't gone anywhere.
Okay.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Folks, it only took us 8 minutes to get to the point where we're maybe working?
It's good. It's all good.
Oh, no.
Now what's happening? Oh, God. What's happening now, Dan?
It's the YouTube stream was now playing in my ear from about... It keeps unmuted.
Mute that YouTube stream.
I'm turning it off. It's closed. It's gone. That thing's gone now. Okay. I think stuff's happening. All right. And I have the other chat window, so we're good. This is performance art. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see all of you folks here. Now, let's do a quick exercise. Everyone, quickly just close your eyes, unless you're driving, and then in which case, keep them closed until you reach your destination. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and we're going to pretend we're starting from scratch. All right, ready? Here we go.
This is how I start every morning.
Actually, kind of is.
It's the self-flogging that starts the day.
Yeah.
And then the deep breathing. I'm not really me.
Yep.
I'm not here.
Yep. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good. Okay, go for it.
Theme us. Theme me, man. I've been waiting for the theme.
Go forward in all your beliefs.
Yes. Oh, Misfit. I think I said this before. I don't know if got picked up. Misfit Scully is here. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Cannot text.
Oh, okay. Good to hear. Eric, the audio ought to be working as well. So let's just dive into it.
Hit that theme song.
You won't be able to hear it. I'll let you know when it's ready.
Okay.
Go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
You couldn't control my mind before, and you certainly can't control it now.
Would you like a jelly, dear?
The TARDIS, when working properly, is capable of many amazing things.
Oh, thank you, Hair of the House, for telling me the sound of the music is playing.
Well, the TARDIS is more than a machine.
Enjoy it.
It's an entity, like a person, you see.
Resulting reaction displayed. Are you ready?
Welcome back to the old Doctor Who show.
It's the old Doctor Who show, your classic Doctor Who review podcast, parentheses, tri-weekly. We're back. We're back after 3 weeks away, but we're standing on the edge of a very deep chasm. The emptiness awaits us, Dan. We have reached the end. We are like so many heifers being led to slaughter. The nail gun poised at one of our temples, but who's pulling the trigger?
Temple Grandin. It's a weird twist of fate. It's Temple Grandin.
It is the end. Dan, 8 years. 8 years. I went back in time. Not back in time. I went back. I went on my phone and went to the first episode that we ever did, which, as you know, was the Aztecs.
Because we were. Boy, what a weird time that was.
What a straight. You can hear. It's not a great show. It's the first show. It's the first show that we did, but you can hear like the seeds of what the show's gonna be within it. But it's very funny because we're only reviewing Doctor Who episodes or stories that are on Netflix, and we're here for 18, right?
Yeah.
And here it is, 147 or 144, depending on where you're standing. Episodes later, and we are back to say goodbye. I mean, let's just say ended.
It's all those episodes. It's the Paul McGann movie. It's the first Doctor Who theatrical movie.
Doctor Who
and now we got the second one. I mean, we're covering all the classic bases.
Yeah.
For at least the filmed stuff. I think we're gonna do the Target novelizations next.
And we did the Power of the Doctor. No, the Love of the Doctor.
Daleks of the Power.
The newer one
The Doctor,
we just did.
Doctor Love.
What was it called? Love of the Doctor. You know, I'm talking about where the old doctors were in it, and we literally did it 4 weeks ago. So we covered, and we did the Sarah Jane movie.
Well,
TV movie
pilot,
where
yes.
she was drinking the wine. What was a movie for me? Let's be honest.
Anything could be a movie.
You mentioned Eric Roberts. So yeah, we ran the Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who machine until the wheels fell off.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there were still teleslides or photos or hand-drawn animated things that we weren't going to do. So yeah, there was a handful of stories left, but we pretty much ran this pony until the pony was not going to run anymore. We were set out to pasture. Dan, for the last time, I guess.
Oh my goodness! Well,
how have your 3 weeks been?
Hey, everything was great until we tried to do this thing. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
And now I got flop sweat going here. I have a feeling that everything's about to collapse at any moment.
That's how we ran the show from the beginning. I will say I'll try not to be sad about it, but I am. There is a hint of sadness to the whole thing. It's a bittersweet sensation.
Symphony.
So we'll save all that crap for the end. I don't know if you have anything else. I'm willing
to get into this.
To jump into reviewing the movie. For listeners that are watching now, live, we are going to take questions via video, which will send out a link to a Zoom meeting that you'll then be let in.
I'm so sorry it's going to be
and your video will be put on to the broadcast. So if you have any issues and you don't want your video on,
that's fine.
Not a problem. Don't turn your camera on. If you aren't even comfortable and you want to ask a question but you don't want to talk,
do it in
just
chat.
text. Yeah, do it in the chat and we'll answer. We'll try to answer everything. It's certainly possible if you're asking a question, we'll miss it in the chat. So feel free to ask it multiple times. Because it's certainly possible we'll miss something.
For real.
But Dan, other than that, I guess we gotta hit that button.
Oh my god. Wow, for maybe the last time?
What if the button turns around and is like, what? I didn't ask for any of this.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys have been hitting me and
we
making
this
weird sounds
after all this time
for so long. Yeah, let's just hit the button. For those at home, make whatever sounds you want.
All right.
Call for your parents. Whatever it takes to get you through this.
Oh boy.
Sunshine when the Dan and Eric on an island of love, all alone with coconuts. Okay, Dan, this is the Daleks Invasion of Earth.
What are we doing?
This is the Daleks ' Invasion of Earth from 2150. Lucky number 2150. One of the best years to have a Dalek invasion. Hands down. This is from 1966. This is the film version of a story that you and I had already reviewed.
It sure is.
It was directed by Gordon Fleming of the Flemingtown Flemings, and it was written by Shady Milton Sebowski. He's a great writer, but don't ask him for a ride home. That's Milton Sebowski. Now, the poor Milton Sebowski's granddaughter, who had a very hard middle school, has just now listened to this podcast hoping to hear something about old Grandpa Milty, and now tears are running down her face. Dan, this is the second film in a series of films in which the Doctor is human, in which Susan is a child, and which Barbara and Ian have been removed from the equation.
They've been joined into a Louise.
We've gotten a new niece, and we've gotten a cop named Tom, a patrolman,
who looks strangely familiar.
You'll recognize his face, and we'll talk about that. I don't need to tell you what this story was about, or do I? I guess we have to.
We'll talk through it.
The Doctor and his companions are hanging out by a street, and there's a robbery. And policeman goes into a box, and he
And then there's some Daleks, and then the world explodes.
big, and then all of a sudden they go into the future, and then there's a mine is involved, and it's all fine. Dan, what did you think of the Daleks Invasion of Earth, 2150 AD? What'd you think, Dan? What did you think?
What a fun romp this was. I didn't know going into this that I suspected they were going to do the same thing with they did with the first movie, that it's like a reimagining of an existing TV story. But I didn't know for sure that it really was, even though the name should have tipped me off. But it was 3 years ago that we reviewed the Invasion of Earth, so who knows? But I thought it's super fun. I honestly love seeing this version of the Doctor. There's a bunch of stuff that's like, I hate when he calls himself Doctor Who, when he just says, my name's Doctor Who.
Yeah, he's straight up Doctor Who.
Freaking hate that so much. I don't know why it bothers me. It just does.
Doesn't bother me.
It does.
I'd call myself Doctor Who if I could. If I got away with it.
Dr. Eric Love. No.
And I believe I said that in the beginning of the opening, and I think I'm right. He is human in the movies. He's just a guy who built a time machine, correct? There's no Gallifrey.
There's no reference to that.
He is a straight up human, right?
Right up. Yes,
and I guess we'll talk about that too. Like, if you hadn't seen the first film, like, there's really no explanation about who these people are. What's just instant adventure, and and I guess for the fan base that are going to the movie, they clearly know what Doctor Who is.
Well, what a weird thing.
And it's a second movie.
Can you imagine just being like, I'm just going to go to the movies and see whatever this thing is? Because
yes, I can imagine that.
It looks like from some of the advertising they did, the trailers for it, they really de-emphasized the whole like Doctor Who of it all. It was very much like Invasion of Earth was the overall title. Very little Daleks, and then very little any other reference. But yeah, you're right. If there's the whole mythology around Gallifrey and who he is and his age and all that, none of that's here. It's just a crazy old granddad invented a time machine. And you're right, you just kind of jump into
with
it
his nieces, or his granddaughter and his niece, and the niece is a brand new character, right? She was not in Doctor Who and the Daleks, which was the film that preceded this. And as you mentioned, sort of as a stand-in, because Babs is gone and Ian is gone, and they had counterparts in the first movie, from what I remember. In this movie, they're gone. The niece is sort of interesting. She assumes like a lot of this, because I remember the show that we did. So like there's certain set pieces, like the part where Babs is running down Daleks with that bloodlust in the truck. Now it's like, a salty sea dog is doing it.
Yeah.
But in a lot of parts, from what I remember, the niece fills in for Babs.
Yeah.
That like Tom is a stand-in for Ian.
Yeah.
And the what else was? Oh, I guess because I'm trying to remember the original show that we did. That's Susan's last.
She falls in.
So there was a love.
There
was like a love story, which would have been inappropriate.
You got to be glad they decided not to stick with the script entirely for that one.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit. But I didn't actually catch that Louise was his niece. I just thought she was.
Yeah, it says it in the.
Okay.
He says it in the beginning when Tom first goes in. He's this might. Well, he also says my niece, and then does the old elbow thing. So I thought that was weird.
Oh,
weird. There's like he doesn't do that,
okay.
but this film was like overtly comical in a way that I don't remember Doctor Who and the Daleks being. Like there's several scenes, like even the beginning.
Yes.
There is like when the robbers come out of the bank and then he goes into the TARDIS and the TARDIS disappears. There's the old like hobo rubbing his eyes and looking into the camera like that's a living, like whatever.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of that Mr. Show where with the talking junkie and Paul F. Tompkins does the eye thing. And obviously we'll talk about Tom's character and the very long extended scene of him trying to fit in with the
okay, let's just
Robo Man.
Let's just go through this whole thing. So
you liked it, right? That was
I did like it.
I also liked it. I found it very entertaining and fun, and I like the color palette.
Yeah.
And the music was reminded me a lot of like Batman '66, and like it had more of like a
The music was interesting.
like a farce, like a spy farce type
Yeah.
feeling to it. But I liked it. It was fun. Like it was. I felt like I like Peter Cushing as a doctor.
Yeah, I do as well.
And I like Peter Cushing, so I'm certainly coming into this a little prejudiced. And then we got to talk obviously about Tom, who we know from New Who.
Yep. But okay, so yeah, overall, I think it was great. The first thing that got me, I loved the opening credits theme song. I thought it was just fantastic. Don't even bother trying to do anything with the actual TV theme. Let's just do our own thing. Very of the era. I loved it. The musical,
and in the old days when you literally got all of the credits up front, it was
the whole thing.
Yeah,
you got a really.
You didn't need to put like some join the Avengers at the end of it to get people to sit through the thing, but
you got like strong bongos going on there. You got this jazz thing going. But that was really great. The interstitial music was very strange because tonally, in a lot of places, it didn't make any sense. They'd be like captured and about to like be marched onto the Dalek ship, and it's just like this goofy bumbling music.
And
it's like all right,
yeah,
super fun. But yeah, okay. So we start off opening credits. First of all, awesome. Kind of a cold open to this noir sort of setting, which I wasn't expecting, but you got that.
And here's a little detail I want to add to that little cherry on the top of that sundae. The opening I thought was very good in establishing like Tom, Bernard Cribbins, Cribbins, right?
Yep.
Is that am I pronouncing his name correctly?
As far as I know,
he's great. But that little moment that they spend where he goes by like a travel agency and he looks at the travel stuff and like there's like, oh, this guy is yearning for adventure, Dan. Is he gonna find? Yes, he's gonna find it. He's also throwing billy clubs and stuff, which is I want to talk about the billy club, especially at the end. The old days when you would hit someone on the head, they were out cold.
Yeah, right.
As a kid, I thought that's how it worked. Like as a kid, I would fantasize like if anyone's breaking into my house, you just hit him in the head once and they're out cold. Like there's not like when you're killing a drifter, it takes 3 or 4 hits,
as we all know,
before they, and then the sounds they make and the kicking. But yeah, so I just like that moment though, like you didn't need it, but it was like a good little character piece.
Yes,
and he's incredibly charming, and I think all of like the goofy stuff, like where he's sleeping or trying to mimic the stuff that we're gonna talk about later, like he kind of sells it. Like I kind of enjoyed all of his screen time.
Yeah. I totally agree with all that. So we got that opening shot. Like that was a really great way to establish it all. The robbery happens, we get the TARDIS there, and I love the fact that it's a police officer looking for a police box that's there. Like it works really well. But again, you're right. For people who have no familiarity with the show or didn't see the first film, like what are
you have no idea
what
what's
are they
going on.
Expecting? I mean,
who is you never find it right? Who is this guy? Like, why is he driving around in a spaceship? Like, who are these kids he's with? Like, all of it's like one line. There's so many things like that, and I'm jumping now to the end. But like when they're trying to figure out how they're going to stop the Dalek plan, the one guy they just met like 5 minutes ago in the mind is like, he's like, if there was a way that we could divert the beam from the Dalek's weapon and go into the place where the North and South poles meet, he just goes, oh, I know how to do that. And then they're like, okay. And then they move on. Like they never ask how. It turns out it's literally just building boards.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But there's lots of, there's a lot of big suspension of disbelief happening throughout all of this, which
you don't get with the typical TV show. That's 100% based in science, and everything holds together perfectly on further examination. Okay, so we got that, but we get the classic, wandering into the TARDIS, bigger on the inside, basic bit, which was fun. I think I must have missed the whole, like, Louise is my niece, because I was just looking at the interior of the TARDIS, and it looks more put together than I remember the first movie's version did, because I was much more like wires everywhere and he's just trying to get this thing working. So maybe in the intervening between these two movies, when he killed Barbara and Ian, he's having a lot more adventures. So he's got that all locked down. But yeah, you got that whole interior. Tom takes it really well and just passes out like a gentleman.
Yeah, he adapts to it pretty easily.
Pretty easily. But yeah, I did have to take a big screenshot of the guy that goes to the police box as it fades away, which, strangely enough, for everything else in this movie that has seemingly much higher production value, the set pieces, the models, the music, everything, that transition of the TARDIS fading away was so terrible.
Yeah, that took you out of it. That
that
like
was the one part. I was like, I turned it off.
Unrealistic.
I actually haven't watched past that point. It just took me out of it, so I haven't seen the rest of the show. No, so we got that. Totally terrific.
The pacing, as much as I liked it, the pacing is also a little strange.
Well, okay.
Like there's a one scene where the Doctor is looking at a map. He is a genius, and in this, he knows what he wants to do. There's no sense of him bumbling through, but he clearly misses the message from Susan on the board. But when he's looking at the map and trying to figure out where the mines are, it takes about a minute too long for the finger tracing the route to the place that they need to go. Or even the stuff with Tom and trying to fit in with the Robo-Men, that goes on a little bit longer maybe than it should have. Yeah. Like, they have plenty of material. Like, this movie is much shorter than the stories it's based on.
Well,
so it felt like there was like some kind of, and I guess maybe just because it's an entertaining, and he's charming, so it sort of works. But I did like the I Love Lucy style, the paper plates with the diet pill speed on it that was just coming out that looked like Dexatrin. What was that like? Diet pill that you'd see the commercials for with the
little helper.
Little things in there that would just get stuff done, get more vacuuming done.
Get you through the day, man. Yes, all of that. Anyway, yeah. So we got them on the. There was something else I wanted to say, but now I got lost.
I talked over it. I just started getting excited about like how there's no lasers. They were like, we could save money on lasers and just do fire extinguishers for the Daleks.
I'm thinking of Dexatrim. Where can I get my hands on some?
That's what we should have started with.
What's that?
Before the show started.
Is the Dextrum.
And then we'd have, our energy level would be higher.
Yeah, instead I took Quaaludes, which was a really bad choice.
You went the opposite. You went for a downer.
Yeah, okay. So we got that. The pacing. Yeah, so I do agree that there are times where it was like, it wasn't, let's say, as tight as it could have been. But it's about the same as a 4-part episode. When the episode's like 22 minutes, this was a 90-minute runtime, it is about the same. What's nice, though, is you don't have that TV structure of like, you have to ramp up and then have a cliffhanger at the end and then come back. So it wasn't these peaks and valleys over 4 episodes. It could kind of be its own thing and kind of, I don't know. It just felt like more cohesive through there. Though, like you say, there are certain parts where it's like, okay, we really didn't need 15 full minutes of Tom running around. Though, to be fair, he was great. Okay, so we got...
I did like him a lot. And I had no idea he was in it. So when he appeared, I was like... He looks really familiar, and I didn't connect it. And then I did immediately while I was watching it, looked it up, and I was like, oh my God. And he just passed away, so it was nice to see him. And I had so he has been connected with Doctor Who
since nearly the beginning of the show.
Since nearly the beginning.
Yeah.
That's another question. So what year did I say this was? I'm the one that literally read it.
66.
This is 66. So is Hartnell still... Or is Troughton now the Doctor, or is this still Hartnell years?
I think it's Troughton now. Right.
It's early, like in any case.
How
so
would
it's
we
still
know?
Like,
we barely even watched Doctor Who before, so I wouldn't remember any of this.
I'm new to the franchise.
But no, that's a good point. I also did not recognize him. I was like, oh, he's really familiar, and he's like, oh, he's great. He can really hold his own, and like carries a lot of the story. Terrific. And it wasn't until the credits at the end it was like, oh, I'm a freaking idiot. And I texted you. I was like, that's who that was? And you're like, yeah, we'll talk about it. Anyway, terrific to get to see.
But you had said like about like the pacing being equal to the original one was 6 parts.
Okay, fair enough. But I just mean like a typical 4-parter. It would.
Yeah. But I'm just saying like there was a lot of material. I don't remember the stuff that I remember mostly about the old serial. Mm-hmm. Barbara killing dudes with the car.
Yep.
I saw that in the movie.
Murderous bars.
When they got sold out by the people who gave them food. Yep. That's in the movie. The weird guy that was like selling them, it was kind of like
it was a little bit different in this one, but
looking for his angle.
The black market guy, yeah.
Yeah. other than that, like I don't remember what was
There was the
missing.
mine. There was the bomb that was there as well, but it functioned.
Like what was
differently.
missing? Do you remember what was missing
Oh.
from that was in the show that we did?
Hey Eric,
I know that's a big ass. It was so long.
It was 3 years ago, and I can't remember the last thing we did. I don't remember the last story we did.
Fair enough. I'm sure people in the chat are now highlighting it. Feel free to highlight it in the chat. What was taken out? But I felt like they got the idea right. They got the idea of like an underground, and we got to talk about like the underground insurgency.
Yeah.
And the guy in the wheelchair that threw the grenade that hit the wall, and then he blew himself up. And then they cut away to the clear mannequin in the chair before he's crushed with the debris, and then they cut again to him.
I don't know. It looked real to me. That was actually,
I loved that.
I think that was in the TV story as well, right?
It was.
Yeah,
there was
okay.
a whole.
I thought that was the same.
There was a whole insurgency. Like that's what.
But like that, literally, like the wheelchair guy and trying to stop
that way
the
of him
Daleks.
dying.
I think so.
Maybe
it felt familiar, or maybe it was just a dream I had. Yeah. So we got all that happened.
I love the Robo-Men, like the concept of the Robo-Men
the Devo?
being like the gifted and talented group, like. All of the humans, like when they capture them and then they get out of because they capture them and the doctor's like, in typical Doctor Who fashion, it's like, oh, this is a magnet lock. Give me something that's non-magnetized. And then they get a comb and then he opens it and you're like, oh, come on, these Daleks are supposed to be so smart. And then you realize that's part of their plan to test whether they're in the gifted and talented program.
Yep.
And then they get sent over to the library or wherever they go to learn about those things. And did I ever tell you about my awful second grade teacher that when I was in second grade, I got it put in gifted and talented. And we used to get pulled out of the class. And when I would get up, this is the same teacher, by the way, that told everyone in the class that I would wear a dress when my mom got remarried. And when the class was like, why is she getting remarried? And then the woman was like, oh, his mom's trying marriage again for a second time, and then told everyone my new name was going to be T, and I'd be E.T. like the alien. Still think about that woman.
What?
She's dead. She's awful lady. Oh, but when I would get up to go to gifted and talented, she would be like, I believe she was a hard right conservative Christian lunatic, and I had put like an ERA yes bumper sticker on my trapper keeper, and my mom was like a single mother, and my sister in 6th grade wrote why there should be a separation of church and state, and she did not like what was coming out of my house, I guess. For those following along at home, my mom ends up being a very conservative woman. Doesn't matter. Let me get to the original point. I would get up for the gifted and talented thing, and she would say to the whole class, I believe all children are equal. There are some people here that think they're better than you and that they get pulled out to special programs. Well, they're not better than you. I'm like 2nd grade. Not that I've carried it with me.
No.
Right? I'm not talking about how I've carried that with me.
You don't think about it nightly.
Yeah. So anyway, the Dalek Robo-Men, I like how they had a program where they would take the smartest ones that they'd use for their secret police and just the regular schlubs get sent to the mines. It was like, you didn't need that detail, but I like that the Daleks were that clever about how they were going to subjugate people. I thought that was nice.
I'm sorry, I got to recover from that. That was...
No, it's all fine. Can we talk about how how dumb the bomb thing is, though? Trying to understand the bomb. Like, so their plan, right? I like, and this was the same plan from the first thing. They're going to pilot the
They're going to
Earth.
empty out the magnetic core
they
of
take the
Earth,
core out, and then they're going to put
pilot...
like a robo. I don't know what they're going to do.
It's a hamster wheel inside
This
the Earth.
thing is heavy. This is a heavy thing. And they have like wooden planks that it bounces. It's going right through that, Dan.
You would think.
It bounced off and then rolled, and like they couldn't figure that out. And why didn't they just drill a new mine shaft? I don't know. It was fine. I guess that was the existing mine shaft. But it seems like the Daleks should have just built a steel wall to block where they definitely didn't want it to go.
Well, the metal is going to be the problem. Well, I guess steel will be okay. I don't know. Yeah, there's the whole magnetic thing, and there's a fracture.
Yeah, I guess
in
you're
the
right. Metal would have
core.
been a problem. That it would have gotten
I
just
guess.
pulled into the.
That'd be iron and not like steel. But
They could have
I don't-
figured something
Who
out.
knows? I don't know. So they got that. There's a weak point, and they need the bomb to hit it just exactly right so that it
Yeah.
goes through and does a. But if it goes off course at all, then it won't work. It just won't work. Like, I don't know why if it goes off course, it's gonna not work to the point where it causes the Earth's magnetic field to suck them all into them.
Well,
I don't know how
think
that's-
This is the way I understood it. Like
Please.
there is the meeting of the North and South Pole for some reason are happening, or some kind of convergence point.
It's a
Highly
connection.
magnetized. If they blow that up, it somehow creates a vacuum that sucks metal down it,
Yeah.
but not organic material, and then all the Daleks would be sucked down the tube
Uh-huh.
and not go to the safe spot. They would go all the way down, even though we've already built a thing preventing them from going into the Earth. Right? Because they say
Sure.
like the Daleks will end up going into the Earth's core, right?
Yeah.
But why wouldn't they just hit the thing and then be deflected right to the? It's all fine. We don't need to think about that anymore. You know what I'm saying though? Wasn't that the? I guess if they should have said like, oh, the Daleks will get stuck like crickets on flypaper or something. Like
Ugh.
they'll get knocked into the north and south
Yes.
pole room, and then they'll
They
be
get
doing
stuck
this
there.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be stuck on the ceiling and not. They'll avoid the core because we've already blocked it off.
But I don't understand how the bomb was even if it worked, how is the bomb gonna empty out the core of there? Is it creating a hole the whole way down and it's just gonna magma out of the center?
Yeah, magma right out.
Just right out there where the Daleks are.
It's
where
gonna
they built
expl-
their headquarters.
They're gonna just. Yep. Everyone around that just gonna get a face full of hot magma.
Okay. Would
You
that
know?
cause the whole Earth to go like flying off in space like a balloon deflating? Would it just go everywhere? Like, did they account for that? Was that part of the plan? Does it? Are they?
What
gonna,
about-
Wait, are they using the magma coming out as a thruster, and that's what?
And then that's gonna shoot it.
Steer the Earth to get to where it said to get near their home planet is what it
Yeah,
said.
they're gonna get near their whole planet. Then they're gonna take. I think they say they're gonna occupy it, but I guess they're just gonna take materials from it.
They're just
and
taking a whole
they're
bunch
gonna
of like
strip it.
history as read. You don't need to know the whole history.
It's fine.
They're just going to go
None of
there
that
and
stuff
there's
matters.
Yeah,
If you start to think, and what about the poor guy who it was his idea, right? The guy's like, I have a way that we can deflect it. He gets straight up. It's two guys. It's Tom Wamsgam and I had in my notes like, oh, if we recast this, we'll just get Tom Wamsgam to play.
I think he's a pain
Tom.
sponge. Yeah.
But so he's going through with the guy whose idea, Tom and the guy.
Tom the guy.
They're up against one Robo Man. One. Easily two people could overpower him, toss him down the shaft. Tom just leaves him.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're fine."
You got it.
And then he goes up the shaft, and we've all been there. And then the two of them are fighting. And he just lets them, they both die. They fall to their death down the thing. It's a very sad end. No one mourns him.
Well, we don't see that part.
He helped the Tom, and it's Tom that he helps, right? It's Tom and the niece that he puts in the supply closet.
Yes.
Right?
Louise, they just tuck away. She's not.
Oh no, it's Tom and one of the rebels that first go to the chain gang on the right.
Yeah, sure.
I can't remember.
We're really talking about details here.
The niece is with. I can't even remember. All I know is there's an old salty sea dog hanging out with the little kid. They got like a hound and whatever Arya Stark vibe going on, like whatever they're doing. You've got the Doctor and one of the rebels, right? Hanging out. They're off on their own. And then I guess you did have Tom and because I guess there's a little bit of like not really a love thing, but like there could be between the niece and Tom, right? That's what I was adding. I always like that.
I'm glad you brought something to it.
I liked a little spice to the thing.
Because Louise had almost nothing to do in this entire story. I'm not sure why she was there. She's stumbling around.
Well,
Oh.
I sent you something that I
what's
thought
that?
was fascinating. I should credit the person on Instagram, but I can't because my phone is being used for the camera right now.
Yep.
But when they released this film in Italy, she is the focus of the film.
What?
So all of the posters are her,
Oh.
cleavage and everything. No, really, no appearance of the Doctor. It is so funny, but yeah, she is the main sort of focus of it. And I shared it on one of the pictures from it on our Instagram. So
That's
I would
absolutely
encourage you.
amazing. I
Yeah,
will
it's very
say,
funny.
what she's wearing is fantastic. I love her outfit, but there's not much cleavage, so I'm not sure what they did with the poster. When you said they
The poster has scenes that are not in the movie.
Fantastic.
So there's a poster of her running, I think, with a gun, like through like the wasteland or whatever. So it's like not really what you get, but that's how you sell tickets overseas.
I love it. I love it. I thought you were going to say that they actually like recut it for Italy for Italian sensibility.
I mean, maybe
that'd be
Yeah, I
amazing.
don't. Maybe it also is recut, but like these are just the posters and the artwork
Terrific.
used to sell the film. No Doctor in any of the posters.
Yeah.
It is all her, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
What about when the
Wait,
Doctor and the old sea dog were fighting over Susan, and they almost pulled her arms off?
Which would have been fine. What was
Easy,
she doing
fellas.
there? What was she doing there either?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Go on.
It's fine.
You were going to say
I
something.
just want to let's hit the high points in order here. Getting back on track. What do you think? So we see the Daleks. Well, first of all, we see ruined London everywhere.
Mhm.
We're all the way back at the beginning. They're coming out of the TARDIS.
Go all the way back.
Coming back out of the.
We're never doing this again, so go all the way back.
Yeah. All right. So
Go
starting
back to Hartnell.
starting Unearthly Child. So we got Susan Foreman. Okay, so they come out of the TARDIS. The building collapses around them, and the TARDIS is inaccessible, leaving them stranded there. They go running around trying to figure out what's going on. You see this big spaceship come across the sky. What did you think of like the model work that we had in this, which presumably had a much bigger budget than the show ever did?
I was gonna say, first thought in my
ahead.
mind
Say
was
it.
those old McDonald's spaceships that they would put Happy Meals in. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh.
You'd get like a big plastic thing, and it came with stickers, and you'd put the stickers on the
Yes.
plastic thing. I was like, I really miss. I don't eat meat anymore. Now you go to McDonald's, you get a Happy Meal. What do you get? A piece of crap Avatar toy, maybe, and a box with like crosswords on it. That's not fun. These things, you'd go on a school trip. Everybody would get one of these freaking things. You'd be whizzing them at each other and pegging each other. It would be fantastic. But no, what was the question? I don't remember what the question was.
What did you think?
Oh, what did I think of the models?
Yeah.
I thought the models were fine. I mean, it was an okay design. I thought it was cool. Like I liked the way that it looked. I didn't think it looked
Concentric.
cheesy or whatever.
Yep.
What were you gonna say?
No, I liked it as well. I thought the model looked really good. I think a lot of the forced perspective work was very good until the end. The end was absolutely abysmal. But and there were a few very obvious, like here's the 4 wires holding it up and making it fly. But other than that, I thought the models themselves looked really good. I just want to call attention to the fact that hey,
I liked
given a
all
bigger
the set-
budget,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and I think you can tell the budget was a lot bigger, clearly, than from what I remember from the show. I thought the sets were cool.
I'm assuming those
I
were
liked-
all sound stages because there was the scene where the one captive is trying to run away and get away from the rest of them, and he's climbing through one building on top and above. But like that's a pretty big freaking set for them to do.
That scene felt like you were watching like a Nickelodeon, one of those like
Aztec Danger, Double
Aztec
Dare, or whatever.
Danger,
Yeah,
Double Dare thing,
Yeah.
like Mark
Summers.
what was his name?
Mark
Summers is hosting.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he goes up and then he does it. It's like, go the other way, go away from
No, stay
us.
right in front of them.
He's just going like, that was fun.
It was like one of those at a carnival with the little ducks go by and you. So
Yes.
Except that the Daleks don't have lasers. They
don't have lasers.
Fire extinguishers, which I guess
Which-
was also the same in the first movie.
I was going to ask you. I
Yes.
don't remember. Was this a budget cut, or did they genuinely think it was scarier to get sprayed with mist? Like, I felt like that took away
Yeah,
from
the danger.
but clearly it was killing people. I mean,
Well, so
he wasn't getting back up.
There were the two main
That
changes.
guy was gone.
You have like the spray that only has like a 6-foot kind of distance on them. So the Robo-Men were the ones with the guns. So I guess they had that. But then there was the change that most of the Daleks, instead of the plunger, had little grabber claws, chomp chomp, instead.
As you do.
Which, as weird as the plunger is, especially like in Unearthly Child, seeing it for the first time, it's like you don't know what to expect there. It is a mysterious, like, what can this thing do? Especially when it's like on the face or it's like manipulating things. So the claw just feels very like obvious and clunky in a way.
Yeah.
Until I did see one Dalek in like the HQ still had a plunger, which was maybe he had retrofitted.
I like the Dalek design, like the colors, and it all looks kind of slick. But I feel in this movie, they're really underplayed. It's mostly the Robo-Men that we're dealing with. You do get some of the Daleks here and there, and more so at the end. But I felt like the big threat was humans. And I guess that's because those things are clunky and they can't easily move around. But I felt like the Daleks couldn't, they weren't that much of something you'd be afraid of.
Just a quick note in the chat.
Okay, chat's happening.
Hair of the Hound. Well, Paul Paranoid says, yes, it was the same. It was a fire extinguisher for the first movie for the Dalek guns. Hair of the Hound says, Daleks originally shot fire, but it was thought too frightening for kids. Which,
that would have been
fair. Fair.
But they still kind of did it. And the scene is fantastic in the film.
Okay.
With the black market guy, and he gets the doctor alone in the supply room.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I got something for you, man." And he sells him out, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, I knew you were going to do that, whatever." Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they all surround the building. He realizes he's screwed, and they spray him, and then it explodes in a big, huge fireball of death.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
You still get fire death. You just don't see the fire coming out of them.
I'm just trying to.
How does that happen? I don't know.
I'm trying to picture them just shooting like straight up, like flamethrowers, like napalm, like streams everywhere, and that would have been an incredible movie.
Well, if you redo it with Tom Wamsgam, you could do that. You could do that, Dan. You could have the flamethrowers.
I'm just gonna put it into Midjourney and see if it can redo the entire movie for us as well with the cast of Succession.
The doctor. Oh, and then the end. The end gets real dumb.
Are we jumping to the end already?
We've been at the end. I mean, we've already talked about the thing. It doesn't matter.
All right,
doesn't matter.
Go for it.
The old point and run routine. Like, so the doctor had his plan is to tell the Daleks, "Hey, you won. Essentially, I can help you." Right?
Yeah.
Let me help you because there's problems with your plan.
Yep.
And then they let him go to or at that point, I think before he goes to the thing, he goes, "Look over there."
Yeah.
And then they all look over there, and then he runs and he grabs the
microphone,
walkie-talkie, and doesn't say, "Turn on your masters." He says, like, "Attention all Robo-Men." Like, he does this build up, and it's like at that point he should be misted to death or whatever the term is going to be. Just say what you want to say. Like, "Attention all Robo-Men."
Yeah, which...
Come on, buddy.
So...
He's already dead by that point. He did a look-see.
Yes.
Which takes 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Nothing. Back to you.
Yeah.
And then he's just hanging out, calling for cleanup.
The Daleks were definitely less scary in this movie than they were ever in the show. To the point where, like, we had the rebels decide, okay, we built a bunch of bombs. These bombs surely will be enough for us to take over and free the captives and get rid of the Daleks, whatever. So it is just a ragtag group of half-starved resistance fighters, and they're easily able to overtake the Robo-Men themselves, the Daleks, everything.
They just needed something to believe in. They're also like, none of them passed the intelligence test.
This is true.
Like,
these
they're
are
not these are the dummies.
These are the dumb
and then they still did okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But clearly that's why the guy in the wheelchair threw the grenade into the wall and just...
Well, because it wasn't blowing up the Daleks. They were resistant to it, so instead. Which didn't even matter. He blew himself up, but then they get in the truck and they go down the street and there's Daleks everywhere the other direction too. So it wasn't helping. Tragic that he did it all for nothing.
But it was all fine.
Did you absolutely love the character design for the Robo-Men? You got the helmets with the big AM/FM radio strapped to the side of it. You got
Those goggles,
double
like,
goggles
it
and glasses.
They didn't fit every actor the
No, they did
same.
not.
Well, some were just sort of off play. Yeah, I could have did without those.
When Bernard put them on, when Tom put them on, it was clearly too small and fogging up like crazy. It just looked like it was 1,000% humidity inside his mask, which must have been fun for the actor. We did talk a little bit about Tom getting his whole hoop-de-doop-de-doo, playing around and trying to like fit in with the rubber band, which was fun. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that
it was silly, but
it's silly.
Again, he's charming, and so like it was fine.
He sells it,
and it felt like at that point, it felt like you might as well have been watching like a Laurel and Hardy film at that point, which was fine. Like, you know, that scene where they're all sitting and then one of them, Tom's sleeping.
Yeah,
and they get it. It was fine.
Yeah, it was great. Let's see what else. Looking at my notes here. Let's see what other things. We got that. Yeah,
I want to know more about the food though. Like, they have those paper plates and we talked about the diet pills, but then there's also like, it almost looks like pieces of, if you're making cookies, and then you were only using you take a little bit of the cookie dough and put them on your plate and hand them out. You know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Okay, fair enough.
But you had me at diet pills. Let's see what else. I don't know. We got the women. We got the women that sell them.
We got the women.
Which were they the same actresses? Like, it was the exact. That part felt almost like line for line the same.
Which party are you talking about? The when they got sold out?
Yeah, the women who sell them out.
That was a great scene in the original.
Yeah,
was also very good here with the potato soup, and the one actress, not the older woman, the younger woman, I thought did a great job of being kind of evil, but also you kind of see where she's coming from, but also horrible. Especially that look that she does at the end when they're taken away, and she like looks at the older woman or whatever. It was good. I like that whole scene, and there was a lot of tension. And even though I knew what was going to happen, I felt like they did it. They sort of set you at ease, only to rip the rug out from you.
Yep.
I imagine a kid would be like, "No," but did anyone see these movies? Like, were these movies? Obviously, we say it's a bigger budget than a show, but I don't think they're huge budget.
They do not feel like big
films, but like, were they? They must have been enough of a success
to do two.
To have done two. Curious for people in the chat as well, like, because these movies weren't playing here. I don't think they were playing in the U.S. But were they a hit in the U.K.? Curious, that's all.
You would think they would have to be. I mean, the reason they made them was the success of Doctor Who, and it was still going strong at that time, and they made the two of them. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. I want to know. Well, maybe this is for later. Maybe this is something we'll ask at the end. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
All right. So what else happens? We got the two in the shed. We get the we get the guy that the black market guy who's going to smuggle them.
Yeah,
he was
good.
Not a good guy. I'll tell you what.
He gets their gun very easily, but he also has a sense of honor in a way, because he takes their gun, but then still takes them into the mine. And he's like, the gun is the payment for it. But he could have just taken the gun and went to the mine on his own. Like, he didn't need to take them.
Yeah.
He still did it. So it was like, he's honoring.
So he's like an honorable kind of.
He's honorable, but then he sells them out later. Maybe that was his idea. Like, I'll lead them in here and then I'll sell them out and I'll
just get two for one.
Get a twofer.
Absolutely.
Maybe that was it.
One of those classic twofers. Harry the Hound says, I think these films were a hit here, and they played them on TV every holiday. So there you go.
There you go. Okay, so maybe they were, and I guess that's true of a lot of Peter Cushing's films, right? He was a big enough star within of genre films, so just having him in it at that point in time was probably a draw.
I don't know. Not much else to say. I mean, the set design.
I think we're done. What else you got? We got listeners, Dan. We got listeners ready to jump in. Or do we? I don't know. Maybe we don't. Is anyone interested? Send a link out to the waiting room. Again, like, if you would like to be on the show, know that we'll be using your likeness, selling it, repurposing it. But yes, keep your camera on if you want. Turn your camera off.
Yep.
however you want to do it.
Use
if you
a
just
sock
want to
puppet,
ask
you
us
can sock puppet
questions,
it.
do a text. Yeah, sock puppets are totally welcome.
Yep.
We'll keep it short, right? So, if we hang up on you, it's just because we think it's funny. But yeah, just say what you have. It could be about the movie. It could be about the entire run.
Oh my goodness.
Of the old Doctor Who show. It could be a question. It could be a question for both of us. It could be a question for one of us. It could be whatever you want. If you have a poem you want to read,
you got a fan fiction. You got
an erotic adventure, a detective novel. Let us. Give us a chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wait to see if anyone does want to join us here. The link is in the chat, so please feel free to jump in if you'd like to. Yeah, I don't know, Eric. So this is 140 something.
Yeah.
140 something.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
What's that?
Here's Paul. Paul Paranoid has said.
Drop some knowledge.
The Gunrunner.
Yep.
Is the same actor.
Uh-huh.
Who played Professor Solon from Brain of Morbius, making him the British version of Michael Ironside in V. Now, I'm a big fan of any V reference. I think we've talked about how much I liked V as a child. Oh my God, I love Diana. I had a bit of a crush on Diana, but also so afraid of that show. Like when they first ripped their faces off and then the baby scene. Now, if you watch that, it's a complete train wreck.
Did we not talk about this the last episode as well? Did we talk about V?
Probably should have did a V podcast
and then
instead
we
of
could do
doing a
the
freaking Doctor Who.
The V reboot as well.
Well, there was a V miniseries.
Yes,
from what I remember.
Yes.
That got turned into a proper series.
Right. And then
then there was a reboot, which I did not see the reboot.
I remember Joe liking it, but I don't think it was great. Obviously, it wasn't great because it didn't last very long.
It. Robert Englund was in it.
Yes.
The guy from Beastmaster was in it. Mark Singer.
No.
Singer. Yes. Is it Mark Singer? Yes. As Michael Ironside was in it. One of my favorite characters in it. What a great. Diana, you can't beat Diana. Great. That's the icon we all need. I feel like she doesn't get enough love. There should be more T-shirts with Diana on it. I don't even know the actress's name, so what a shame.
What a shame. Well, you could research that while we admit our first guest into the Zoom. Let's see how this works.
Am I going to see them here?
Well, let's find out. We have no idea how this is going to work. This could be a failure, just like the beginning was. So here we go.
Oh, one thing we should say before this person joins.
They're already in.
You may want to mute your YouTube feed.
Yes.
Once you're on here, because you'll be in the future with us instead of the past.
That's right.
With the non-cyber people.
Okay. Let's see. Cyber,
is there a meeting passcode? He's asking for a meeting passcode.
It's the entire link. Just copy the link that's in the chat, and that should let you in. It has the passcode over there. Hey!
Hey!
All right.
How you doing? Introduce yourself.
I'm great.
Okay, I will say, please say your name, where you're from. I think I know who you are already, but
you know who I am.
Yeah.
It's Chris Calloway.
This is Chris Calloway, who I've talked to.
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas.
Tell the folks. Oh, you already did. I was going to say where you're from.
Wait. Hang on for a second. Chris has a better mic setup than I do right now. I left my microphone at home, so I had to go through. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Thank you for being more prepared than I am.
Chris had a fantastic interview show that I was lucky enough to be on. But
I don't. Great.
You don't do that anymore, right?
No. When I feel like doing it, I lay down until the feeling passes, and then I'm good. So no, I don't do it anymore. I just kept the setup. So for things like this,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm with you. We're at the end of having done it, and now what? Who knows?
Now what?
Do you ever miss it? Do you ever find yourself talking to strangers and posing a question?
I stop people in the street. What's your favorite beverage? Like what?
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss it, but I'm just not there yet. I don't have the massive audience that you have. No, really,
the billions of people around the world.
I'm going to miss this because I have listened to every single one. Many walk around the building at work back when I worked in a building.
I remember those times.
But I would listen to every, and it was great. And I'm going to miss it. And would you ever think of doing, let's say, a holiday special every year, like let's say Santa Claus sent you the Ice Warriors, and you say, okay, this is the one we didn't do, and I don't blame you for saying that's enough. We got to say when.
Gotcha.
But if someone did, would you consider something like that?
I would absolutely consider it.
Once a year.
Tell me about the Ice Warriors. The Ice Warriors is one of these half missing.
Yeah, well, it's better than half. I think there's 2 in the middle. So you're looking at 2 animated, and there's 4 that exist.
Oh, yeah, I would do that.
We should have just done that one. Why did we not do it?
We also, like, while this show is dead, we are committed to doing the special, right?
The 60th anniversary. We're going to do that.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
We'll definitely be doing that. And I like the idea that Chris is suggesting, though, that it's like a Star Wars holiday special type situation.
But better than that.
Well,
how can it be better than that?
How can it be better than B. Arthur?
We're going to bring in the Ewoks, and it's going to be great. No, I would be into that 100%. The 60th anniversary, we have to do it. I have a feeling, you know, as with the send-off of Jodie's character for the Doctor, the amount of fan service that's going to be involved in that for Classic Who means it's going to be right up our alley. So we're definitely going to do that. But I'm into continuing this train wreck anytime. Especially, let's go for months at a time without doing it, and then come back and just see how terrible we are. It's going to be lovely.
Oh, no, the muscles will come right back, the memory and everything.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I didn't watch this last movie. Shame on me. But I was, in a way, I was watching Doctor Who with my youngest because I went out, have a better appreciation for Sylvester McCoy's Doctor after hearing you speak about him so glowingly. And I went back and watched it, and I was like, this is not so bad, especially the extended versions that they don't have on BritBox. So I got the first season, and they actually did a proper regeneration scene with some computer effects to actually blend in Colin Baker's face in with Sylvester McCoy's as he changed.
That's cool.
But my 6-year-old loves it.
Wait, so do we need more Colin Baker though? I mean, you could have just left that part out. But
I gotta tell you,
I know.
Colin Baker is great on the Big Finish story. I know you haven't heard them, but so there are more stories that we didn't get.
You did get them, but they have extended versions on the box.
So new effects and stuff, but longer scenes too.
Yeah, they have
like deleted scenes cut in or stuff.
Pretty smoothly for the most part, but we've been watching that. And actually, last night we watched half of Remembrance of the Daleks, the 25th anniversary.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But my kid loves it. He's 6 and he loves it. He's talking about the mom. Yeah, I was like, well, we have a new fan now. Sure. I think all my kids have been through this.
That's not right.
Yeah, and just, I don't know. I'm going to miss the podcast. At least they're out there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they're not going away.
You can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them.
They'll be there forever, folks.
We can always revisit them.
Yeah, I did. I said it before. I listened to our first one, and it was like, hey, boy. But no, we hit our stride. I'm 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
By all means, I'm going to miss it
around like 1:30 or so. We really started picking up.
There is some magic in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the show matured, but
no. It definitely got less mature over time.
Yeah, I think we went the other way. We're too stuffy in the opening. Like, we're like too serious and like. Immediately in the second episode, I'm talking about bedazzling seats that I'm riding on. It's like, okay, this is the direction we need to go in. This is what works.
Well, thank you so much for listening for 8 years now. That's incredible. I'm glad that you're able to pass along the Doctor Who to the next generation as well. Get some real behind the sofa moments, which is fantastic. So thank you, Chris.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right. Let's see. How do we do this gracefully? We're gonna do
that was my favorite, just because I thought he was gonna be staying in there forever because we couldn't figure out how to like remove a person from. He's back.
He's back. You're trapped.
I thought Dan had done the right thing by taking you out. Nope.
No,
he's doing us a favor by turning off his.
I got him. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, Bob.
Thank you. That was great.
Oh.
I get to see people. This is amazing.
Hang on. I just accidentally reported him to Zoom. Wait, don't report. Sorry about that. Oh, you're fine. Okay. Let's see. That was amazing. All right. Next in the chat, I'm going to pick randomly because I don't know if they're in any particular order. Who's this person? Paul Paranoid. Who could this be? Go ahead and join and make sure you mute the YouTube audio just so you don't get infinite loops and backgrounds and all of that happening.
All right, Paul's connecting.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
Folks, it's almost here. Christmas time is almost here.
We should have been doing this from the beginning, Dan. We should have just been this video thing with callers coming in, right?
Yeah.
Just me unloading all these trauma and demons.
All right, hang on.
My childhood. All right, is Paul in limbo?
Yeah, I think Paul's a little bit in limbo. Let's see. Can I
Paul, bear with us. You are connecting to audio is what's happening.
Oh, is that what's happening?
That's what it says on my end.
Oh, I don't see that. But okay, cool. Amazing.
Now Chris has said that he is on the lam because you reported.
My apologies. I didn't actually report you. I was able to close that window, but there was a tense moment there when I thought maybe, just maybe. Okay, Paul, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room just for a moment, and then we'll see if we can get you to get this to work out. I'm going to pick another person here. We're going to do Dana Lucas. I think we know who this is.
Hey!
Let's do Dana. We're bringing you in now. Let's see how this
Let's
works.
hope it works.
And we'll come back to you, Paul. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can get this working here. I don't think this is the easiest thing in the world. Let's see if you're... Dana, are you there?
It seems like it's discriminating against our UK friends here with who you're letting in. It says connecting to audio.
Hopefully this will work. What they need is better software for this.
If I drop my thing off and you get this weird picture of me half in shadow, half in light.
Can you come back? Can you come back
bookcase.
again? What happened here? I just lost you. There you go.
I just went away.
All right.
I didn't know if that was going to help with the bandwidth. Like if I just go.
I don't think it's a bandwidth thing.
Okay. Still says connecting to audio. Curious to know in the chat, and this goes to Paul and to Dana. What does it show on your screen? Like, are you also seeing some kind of connection screen? Or are you getting any kind of error message or what? Let us know.
So this is basically our self-help tech podcast. Oh, here we go.
Hey!
It happened! Hello, can we hear you as well? Let's see if that works. No, I cannot hear.
No.
We can see you, but we cannot hear you yet.
I can see, but not hear.
So we're just going to lip read instead.
Are they muted?
I don't know. Let's try Dana. Let's see. Can we hear you yet? No?
Nothing. I got no audio.
Oh no. See,
it looks like you're having fun though, which I like that. Oh, look at those cool. I see some Doctor Who stuff on the wall.
Oh, Dana's connecting to audio. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Okay, here we go.
The magic's about to happen, folks.
It's going to happen. Maybe it's just a patience thing. It's just a patience thing. We got to wait.
This is my hold music while I'm just going to... We'll do...
Okay. Yeah. I see a little Tom Baker.
There we go. I love it. Love it.
I love it.
Go forward in all your beliefs.
I'm just playing this while we're waiting.
And prove to me that
you could write on a piece of paper.
It's hostage stuff. Okay, Dana, I'm gonna go ahead and put you back into the waiting room.
It was nice seeing you,
but we'll bring you back. Don't go anywhere. See if you can figure out what's going on. We'll have you rejoin again. I'm just gonna put you back into the waiting room, and we'll go for the next guest here. Let's see. Third time's the charm. Let's see. Well, let's go back to Paul. Paul, let's see if we can get you in here. I'm going to add you in. This time, it shouldn't mute you automatically when you come in, so you should be able to join with audio.
Oh, is it set to mute them when they come in?
By default, but it'll should be okay. I see joining. I see joining.
I see an icon.
I see an icon right there. His name's Eric.
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, it says connecting to audio.
Yeah.
How come whenever I see other shows, it doesn't look like this at all? Like they're adding guests, they're coming in and out.
Oh, they're probably professionals.
But you're not you're literally just using Zoom. Like it's not like it should just work, right?
You would think. We still have.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you wrote the code for this. It's just Zoom.
Did I not? I should.
It's just us. It's like there's like a there's like a anti-tech because we're in the AI simulation, but we're not. So it's disrupting the illusion around
What's
us.
happening?
Now, Paul, I'm not seeing anything happen with Paul. I see Paul in here right now.
I do as
I don't
well.
see it. I don't see it connected to audio. I don't hear a thing.
Correct. The video looks like it's off as well. Instead I'm gonna make Paul the host of the show instead. I can make host. We'll see. No.
Now it says he's connecting. Did not connect to audio. It said.
Yes.
Yep, I agree. ChatGPT has taken over. Throw in. Try someone else.
Okay.
Do we have someone else? Do we have anyone else in the waiting room?
We have our friend Hair the Hound here. I'm gonna.
Sorry, Paul.
We're gonna put you back in the waiting room one more
Hair the
time.
Hound.
We'll put you back so you're not gone. Let's try this again. Conrad, my fingers are crossed that we can make this work. We'll put you back so you're not gone. Oh, mute your YouTube, and I think we're actually good.
Okay, I've muted my YouTube.
Yay!
What? 2 out of 4. This is pretty good. This is great.
It's exciting. Right. A little bit stressful.
This is great.
All right.
Hello.
Now, say who you are,
yes.
where you're from. I think we already know who you are, but throw it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in the UK. I'm Conrad or Hair of the Hound on Twitter, and long time Old Doctor Who show listener.
Indeed.
Indeed, it's true.
In fact, one of the people that inspired, forced, coerced us into doing a second round of reviews, if I'm not mistaken.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we have you to thank and blame. Perfect.
And you're also behind us doing the TV pilot for Sarah Jane Smith.
Yes, you are.
Correct?
Yes. So co-producer Conrad.
Yeah, in a way.
It's fantastic. Well, tell us what is on your mind. Tell us first. What did you think? What are your thoughts about the movie? I'm assuming you've seen it more than once.
Yeah.
Many times. Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, the Dalek movies are.
And this is also a gift.
See,
one of the.
I would say Conrad's actually the second host. I'm really the third host of the show. So this is great. Go ahead. As you were saying.
Yeah, the Dalek movies are like, it's from before a lot of us were born, and they show them on TV all the time. Yeah. Every holiday, like any bank holiday, Easter, Christmas, they're always on. So it's probably like the first old Doctor Who that any of us see are these movies.
Wow, okay.
But I love them, they're great.
Do people like it or goof on it? Like, is it? Yes.
Yeah, like I think with some people, like when you're a sort of earnest new fan, when he says "I'm Doctor Who" and this is TARDIS, it just makes you go, "Oh my god!" And then you get older and you're like, "No, it's great." You just
right. I'm still hanging on to it.
Colorful Daleks are great.
I'm still hanging on to the fact that he says, My name is Doctor Who."
My name is Doctor Who.
It just makes me just like, okay,
as you do.
I guess.
Anyway, it's a great name. I just wonder, like, why it seems like it's never in canon. It's never mentioned.
Right.
So that's why for me, I'm like, oh, is it frowned upon? Is it like sometimes a movie is made of a thing that's beloved and it's terrible and people don't talk about it and then they redo it? But it sounds like it's not the case at all. Like people.
No, this one is really loved. Like everything from the poster to the look at those big chunky Daleks to the fact Bernard Cribbins is in it. Everybody loves them. I think that's one of the few things Doctor Who fans can agree on.
The artwork is fantastic on the posters. Like
I love the Italian posters and everything.
So you've seen those? You saw the Italian posters?
Yeah. The thing is, all of the posters in any territory, they're all fantastic, painted, really, really beautiful.
So very of the era in every way. The production design, the set, the music, everything about it. It's just like it's fantastic. That's terrific.
Bongos.
How does it fit? Okay, so obviously it doesn't fit into the canon of the show. Even something like the Paul McGann, like that has been kind of retconned in a way and brought fully into canon. How do you feel about it in terms? Do you have a head canon around it? Does this fit in the universe, or are you just like, no, this is just a fun little thing, and it's
this lives in its own. Like I think for the TV series and even the TV, like Paul McGann TV movie, that's all very integrated. This is the one thing that's allowed to live in a special Technicolor heaven. It's like someone else. It's his own thing, and it's untouchable.
It's amazing. No one's ever been like it was a pocket dimension where some other alternate universe. Like it was never actually brought in.
Someone is doing the multi-dimensional. All of a sudden, now we're going to see a CGI version of this Doctor when they pass by or something. With the Marvel MCU there.
That was a missed opportunity in Jodie's send off that we didn't have this Doctor.
They've already done him for Rogue One. So they just
That's
move
right,
the
they have
files
them.
over and just bring them
Slap
into
a different. It's fine.
There it is,
Just
yeah.
change
CGI
the
versions.
universe.
This is what's going to happen to you two. We're going to have CGI versions of you.
Oh,
That would be
when-
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could sign a piece of paper, get a check of some kind.
That's
just
right.
CGI.
We're gonna have so many podcasts because they have our voice and our likeness. It's fine.
Just feed
Go, go.
ChatGPT this podcast and watch the world.
and
burn.
just watch it commit suicide. It'll be fine.
Well, I have to say as well, as your previous guest says, we're all going to miss this so much because it's been like amazing. It's been what a few years it's been through. You know, one or two things have happened in the world.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
Guys, and maybe you caused it. I don't know, but it's been really nice to help
You
get
can't
us all
disprove
through
it.
that. I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
Like looking back after all these years, like what started this? Can you remember the conversation or the thought or who up to or what your? So my first question is really like, talk us through how this started.
I'm sure
Whose
we
idea?
must have mentioned this at the beginning sometime. But yeah, I think, Eric, it was just a conversation between.
I just asked you, right?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about New Who, and we were both had not much familiarity with Doctor Who at all when we were watching the New Who when it first came on. And I think we were talking about that. And Eric and I knew each other from a previous job. He was actually hired me at my first.
I did. I hired him.
So I've known him for a very 20-something years. But it was really an excuse for us to have a reason to get together virtually and just talk.
And we had wanted to do a podcast before that was going to be like even like a political podcast at one point.
Yes, we were. Yes, it were.
And then we wanted to do like,
thank God,
where it was like, okay, this is, and I always wanted to do a podcast like, I'll just have an idea of something I don't understand, and then we'll figure it out on air. Like nobody wanted that.
No.
But I had a little bit more classic Who knowledge than you did, because I had owned a few Tom Baker ones, and I'd been watching them since I was a kid. Only that select few.
Yeah, I only saw a few Tom Baker on PBS. That was it.
There was 18 on Netflix, so it felt like
very
this
self-contained.
is like not a big commitment.
No.
Like we can just do this and see what it's like.
We'll
like I didn't expect really anyone to listen to it.
Yep.
As someone that like makes things aside from this podcast, I was like, it'll be a fun like outlet that I don't have to worry about promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went into it thinking like, I'm not going to be like, how do I become a great podcast or a top podcast? Just have fun. Hardly even promote it. Don't worry about it. Dan and I can talk again, which was great.
Yeah.
And it was like 18, no problem. It's all on Netflix. Like we don't,
no commitment. No commitment.
By the second episode, it's like, oh yeah, they got rid of the rights. They don't have the rights anymore on Netflix. Now we're jumping to Hulu Plus, and then I don't know.
Oh, then it was Hulu. It was almost all of them were there, and then
it was
this
on
would be great. We'll
Hulu
just
and
do Hulu.
Amazon.
Great. And then it was like, no, now we can't. Remember, we couldn't find it. It was literally gone for a little while.
It was gone.
We had no access at all.
We lucked out with BritBox, but it just snowballed. Like, and it's fun with Dan, and I'm also gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Like, because what happens is like you're really good friends with someone, like life happens and you drift apart just naturally. Like I'm married, I have 3 kids. Dan's got his own thing going on. Like we don't ever see each other. Yeah. Well, he won't get married.
Whatever he's doing up there.
Fighting bears, I remember in one
I'm
episode.
still fighting
bears.
I've actually befriended them, so I'm the king of the bears.
But like this, like keeps us connected, and it's like so many things in life you just disconnect from people, and maybe once in a while you'll text, but this was like a way of like maintaining our friendship for 8 years.
8 years.
So even if we're not recording, I'm still calling you every 3 weeks and being like,
just
hey.
record those in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll post the phone calls. And what I really think was important about the show is from the beginning, we didn't learn anything about Doctor Who the entire way through. Still can't remember character names.
I still don't remember it.
Continuities. I think the best part of it is the fact that we did it entirely out of order. Just completely willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So cannot keep continuity straight.
Which kind of represents how the US was exposed to it anyway, because it was just so haphazard, like, oh, maybe it's going to be Tom Baker, maybe it's going to be Peter Davidson.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. Finally, like if you were forced at gunpoint to do another podcast, not Doctor Who, something else.
Does he know something we don't know? We have talked about this. What would we do, Eric?
I don't know. I would love a show where we weren't reviewing anything. I don't know what that show is, because I feel like sometimes when I'm reviewing, I feel weird about like saying whether something's good or bad, especially because knowing what goes into it. That being said, I think I talked about the Sid and Marty Krofft
Which
thing.
I still think it's great.
And like, I think that I love that, I mean, the certain error of time.
Yeah.
So anything within that, like, I would love to
What
do.
we want to do is take a niche. Our podcast is already niche to begin with, Doctor Who overall. And we went even more niche to classic Doctor Who, which most Americans can't find. So I think our next step is to find another topic that's even smaller. That's really where we want to go.
It's super hard, right? It's super hard to find something. Like, I went through a period where I was just watching all these giallo movies, like Italian horror movies from a certain period. But what would the podcast be? Just got this movie's great. Like, I love, like, this is really like Dario Argento is amazing, but you got to see Mario Bava. Like, that's not entertaining for anybody.
No,
so that's not fun.
But it's
so we
need you don't completely love. It's got to be something there's a bit of bump and a bit of edge.
Which is why
totally.
The Sid and Marty Krofft thing is great because it's fine to tear it apart or to love it for what it is with warts and all. Because who's going to care? It's the same with Doctor Who. It's like, we obviously love it. We wouldn't spend 140 something episodes doing this.
Totally.
And we know how rough it is in certain areas, but still, like, absolutely love it. I think really what the world needs is another podcast of two white guys talking. So we'll figure it out.
Why not? It's an underrepresented
genre. Absolutely.
Maybe not the political one.
Maybe not the political.
No. Just if there could be, literally, I just talk to Dan and we talk about dumb things that don't make any sense, like, and just ramble and just the stream of consciousness that he lets me let out. That's for me.
Do it.
I think there's definitely. I think we'll probably end up taking a little bit of a break, but I would not be surprised if something else comes. So I would recommend to anyone listening, or anyone who's not listening, stay subscribed to the feed because when something else does, come,
we would
the 60th anniversary. Obviously, we're going to do that.
Guaranteed to do that. That'll happen.
When we finally decide to go back to the Sandman again and really kill our viewership, we'll let you all know.
That was I don't know how everyone felt about those episodes, but that was a steep drop on the listener count. I was watching the stats, so I was like, oh, no, okay.
We did something wrong. Anyway.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for listening and for all you did. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay.
Oh, you did that. You did that like a champ.
I think he did.
You added him like a champ.
No, he's the pro. Oh, he's the pro.
Okay. Then I was giving you credit on that.
What the heck we're doing? All right, we're gonna go.
But
back.
to add to that podcast thing, as we're talking about what we're gonna do. The podcast I listen to, I don't listen to review podcasts. I just listen to I listen to Bananas for Bonanza, which I guess is kind of a review podcast, but it's so absurd, and like Office Hours, which is just funny, or The Best Show. Like, it's just like things that are funny that take me away from the nightmare hellscape that we're in. Do you listen to podcasts that are reviews of things and they go through like maybe you do.
No,
I don't know. Do you?
I really don't. They're not. Well, no, I do listen to like How Did This Get Made, which is a comedy podcast, but it's about movies. But it's kind of review.
Yes. But I kind of like that world.
It's that's primarily a review, primarily a comedy podcast. Though.
That's not what we do, but that is closer to what we do.
Yeah, that's the type of thing.
Then
But then I also listen to way too many political podcasts, and I'm glad we never did that because it's fine for us to be completely unqualified to review Doctor Who stories. It's a different thing for us to be completely unqualified.
Well,
the
way that I had fantasized about that show, and thank God I agree with you, we didn't do that. Was that we would take one issue and like deep dive into it.
Would we also?
And then I think as soon as we did that, we were like, "Oh, this is a lot of work."
A lot of work. We get bummed when we have to watch 6 22-minute episodes of a TV show that we like. So that would have been really bad. Okay,
we all dodge a bullet. See if you can let someone else in.
Christopher Calloway says, "Anyone else having Zoom trouble can just take the Concorde to my house and connect." And he says, I just like to say Concord, which is fantastic. Concord! Yes. Okay, Paul, let's see.
Time flight.
Let's see if we can get you working here.
Paul and Dana both.
I would love to get the two of you in because longtime listeners love to see if this will work out. Paul is joining. My fingers are crossed, which means I can't type. So let's see how this works. Do. It's unfortunate.
Can you see if people are muted?
Oh,
this looks promising.
It's happening.
I see. I see him.
I see
but
you,
I don't hear him.
I don't know if we can hear you.
Okay. We seem to have
Connected
wait,
to audio.
hold on.
Oh. I'm looking at two screens here, so sorry if I'm all over the place.
No,
Fingers crossed.
Still no audio.
No.
Not yet.
No.
I see you, but not hear you. So I guess I got to do this. Can you hear us?
It's connecting to audio again.
Did not connect to audio.
It keeps saying it did not connect.
Why?
Which makes it sound like Zoom's making a choice.
Yeah,
Zoom like, it did not connect. It's like it's nobody's problem. I'm just Zoom. What can I do?
Well, Paul, we see you.
We love you.
It's great to see you.
Thank you so much for being such an active part of our community on Twitter, on the emails, listening. So I'm glad to see you, even if we can't hear you. If you want to stay in the waiting room, we'll try one more time again, and maybe
we could try one more time,
maybe
or
a little Googling.
just you could type your question.
Oh, you can definitely.
And then we'll read it, like, because I feel
we can
bad
definitely
at
do it
this
that way
point
as well. We can do that way.
But why? This happened twice where we get video and no audio.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening either.
All right, so
okay, Paul, I'm going to put you back
Paul
in the
back.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to try Dana.
Try Dana again.
Let's see if we can get her in. Oh, Paul's coming back in again one more time. Let's see. See if we can connect to the audio.
I do not hear anything, even like static or anything.
No. Nothing happening this time. All right, Paul, we're going to put you back in the waiting room maybe one more time's the charm, if we can maybe a little Googling action to see what's going on there.
Okay, while you're doing that, I have to look and see, do we have chat stuff probably? Did we miss anyone's question in the chat? So
Okay.
you go add,
Misfit
Dana
Scully.
back in.
See if we can try this. Dana, you are admitted. We'll keep those fingers crossed, see what we can do here. Man, I feel like a crazy switchboard operator. I got so many screens going on here.
A lot of screens.
It's a lot of screens. And none of them are working right. My fingers are crossed for Dana. This is going to work. It's going to happen this time.
See, I missed Paul. Paul had said Star Crash, had referenced the film Star Crash. We should review that film.
Star Crash?
That is a science fiction Star Wars era film with David Hasselhoff.
Get out of here.
And I don't remember the woman's actress's name that's in it. That I don't know if I've seen it. I think I've seen it. I was probably in a state of mind that I shouldn't have been watching it.
Huh.
But yes, I'm just also going through these things here. Look, I don't see any questions. Again, if you have set a question in the YouTube chat, I'm also checking that. So write it again just so I don't miss it. And Dana is connecting to audio, correct?
I'm seeing no status update on that as well. Oh, here it comes. It says again, did not connect to audio. I don't. Oh.
Thank you.
And for the audio only listeners, Dana has a nice note that says, "Thank you, Dan and Eric. Kiss, kiss." Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Again, same. Thank you for being such an active part of the community as well. On Twitter, emails keeping us going. We really do appreciate the amount of time and effort that you spend to keep us going in the reviews. It's because of people expressing how much they enjoyed the little thing that we're doing that we kept going. So you were one of those people.
True.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
One of the best. I was looking for a.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Yes, I know you sent me an email. We'll get there as well. It still says it says you're connecting to audio. So and Eric's holding up a sign for the audio listeners. Eric's holding up a sign that says thank you as well.
Well, that was for obviously because she's not hearing us, right?
No, I think you're hearing us. Maybe not. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, Dana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna try.
Thank
you for everything. And stay subscribed because there's more to come at some point. So thank you. All right. Let's see. Anyone else want to join? I think we've run the course there because the audio Zoom is what it is.
Is the room is empty, right? There's no other waiting room people.
We want to try Paul one more time. Paul, this is going to be the big finish, as they say. I'm coining that term myself for the first time here. The big finish. Let's see if we can get the audio to work this time. Okay, and otherwise, if not, Paul, we'll still get to hear your voice in email form instead. So, one way or another, we're getting some Paul tonight. It does not look like it is happening. And I'm picturing Eric sweating over a GarageBand file, trying to edit all of this together into something somewhat cohesive. I feel so bad about this. Okay. Well, it looks like the gods of Zoom are not working for us this time. So what we're gonna...
It's very strange how the video is working. Usually that's the thing that wouldn't work, but the audio is... You're right, it is a judgment on Zoom. It's saying Zoom is not having it. I don't know.
Zoom
I don't know
ain't
why.
doing it. All right. Well, thank you folks for taking the time to actually try to connect with us. We do appreciate that.
We'll have Paul's
email. Let's do that.
Right. And then if anyone has a question,
please
do it now in the chat, the YouTube chat, I guess the live chat, because we're almost through, right?
Yep.
It's almost the end.
Yes, sir. All right. So Paul emailed to us. It's the Dalek Invasion 2150.
It's the...
but the Earth has been prepared for. So after many weeks of anticipation, I can finally just welcome the brand new Doctor Who show podcast, the airwaves of the internet, on its maiden voyage for what I'm sure is going to be a glorious 8 years of two intrepid new to old Who Americans setting out on their golden voyage of boldly watching all the complete surviving serials of the greatest original science fiction fantasy TV show ever made. And what a story to go in on. See, folks, he's a time traveler and has made it back to the future. Back to the Future. That should be a movie. I think it should be a movie.
We had been going out, and now we're going in.
Now we're going in again. So Paul continues, Daleks, post-apocalyptic London, sexy motorbike gear-themed robo-zombies, fresh fruit as turn in the human rebels' bargaining currency. It's also technically the first Doctor Who movie to feature Daleks that can swim. Forgot about that. The way it came up out of it was great. Thank you very much. Bernard Cribbins as a Doctor Who regular, and in no way contradicts the theory that if you remove the molten core of the Earth and put it in an engine, you can start it up and steer it around the universe like some kind of atmosphere-ripped, surface climate ruined dime store Star Wars Death Star. Still don't understand how that's supposed to work. If anyone was put together a drawing or a schematic of how this is supposed to, that would be great. Lastly, he says, all around a fabulous addition to the Peter Cushing starring Dalek movie franchise and a great way to begin the old Doctor Who show's glorious 8 years run. See you next time on the old classic Doctor Who show themed podcast. Thank you, Paul, for writing
Thank you, Paul.
As always, thank you for listening.
And for listening for so many years.
And please, stay subscribed. You'll get that the 60th anniversary and
and I like the sound of the I've already forgotten the name of it. The cold ones. The Ice Warriors. The fact that it is, if my memory serves me correct, it's 4 surviving episodes and only 2 animated ones.
And maybe we could do a
bad.
We could do a 6-parter if we give ourselves like 6 months in between recording.
Yeah, for the holidays, a Christmas special.
Well,
we have the
60th is in November. That's going to be a holiday themed sort of adventure. So that's going to be great.
We could do a Halloween one where we can dress up in costumes.
Yeah,
do it on video, and then all of our listeners can wear costumes. Oh my gosh, what? I blacked out there. Wait, before we get, are you done with the email?
Yes, go for it.
We're good. Thank you. James Morris had written that it's 5:30 here in Sydney, which is amazing that you're watching this and loving this as I get ready for work and equally frustrating Zoom experiences. What a perfect way to go out, lads. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you. Okay, Paul does ask in the chat if I have a question. Yep. If you're going to revisit one story, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, God. Did we review any Doctor Who stories? I can't recall a single one.
Yeah, it's hard to answer this because I could tell you a whole bunch that I would love to watch again because they're amazing. But then I'm thinking like, should we, now that I know so much, even though we say we don't remember everything, clearly we know more than we did.
Yeah.
Like early ones that we did, where now that we know more about the characters and now that we know more, like would have a greater appreciation of it. Like the second story we did was the Patrick Troughton one.
The Mind Robber.
The Mind Robber.
I would go back to that actually.
Like knowing more about Jamie now.
Yeah.
That was Zoe, right? I think she's in that
so,
one.
Yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago. Boy.
Like because I had not seen Patrick Troughton before,
Yep.
so like, but I really want to watch like Brain of Morbius again and Pyramids of Mars, and I could honestly just rewatch all of the Tom Baker run.
Of course,
especially that era. I could do it, and even like to rewatch like the McCoy.
I was just gonna. You stole that from me.
Yeah,
you knew that I would say I want to go back to because some of those were just
the one where they were in the mall and like
crazy.
the red-haired
Paradise
people
Towers.
And maybe
we got
they were
Towers, which was crazy. Happiness Patrol was nuts. I mean, some of those because in the first go around we went as much once we got the order we had enough available stories that we could review. When we started going doctor by doctor, we ended up losing a whole bunch. So like, would I want to go back and watch a Colin Baker again now that I've seen everything? Kind of maybe have a better appreciation for it? No, probably not. But maybe it's Sylvester McCoy to go again.
I'm trying to remember the Colin Baker ones, like the whole Trial of a Time Lord.
Yeah.
They weren't all bad.
No, they
right?
weren't all bad. I just keep.
I mean, Twin Dilemma is straight up bad, and the stuff with Perry, there was a lot of like animosity from what I remember that, or at least it read that way. But I feel like there are some good episodes in there, good stories in there.
And I actually liked Perry for the most part. I mean, she was great.
Yeah, I like Perry too. But
but
the cat, like he literally tries to strangle her in one of them. Remember?
Yes.
I think that's the first one. I think that's right after his regeneration. He's like in an animal state.
Yeah. So I think that's what we would do is maybe some of those. Cool. Yeah. Charles says it's wonderful to see how excited you guys get over the prospect of rewatching. No, remember, it's just the prospect of it, not the actual act of rewatching them. So
well, it's this, right?
This
is what I miss. Will miss is talking silliness. To you about it and then hearing from people what they thought of what we said or what their own thoughts were. Speaking of thoughts on things, I think we should rank.
Oh, I knew you were going to do this.
I think I've said it before. I said it today, and I've said it in shows past. I feel like we need to come up with a definitive list.
Oh boy,
that ranks
this is
that we both agree on. Not your list, my list.
Oh, this is going to be.
You can make a case for it. We got to start at the bottom. I think it's going to be Colin Baker, right? Well, now let's set up some ground rules. Paul McGann in the list.
Yes.
Peter Cushing in the list.
Oh, this makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, put him in the list.
Put him in the list.
And then only classic doctors with Paul McGann being the cutoff point. Like there's no Matt Smith or anything like that.
Correct.
So we have our, how many is that?
That'll be 9 then.
10, 11, 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The original 7 plus Paul McGann plus Cushing.
Yes. Okay. And Colin Baker's probably on the bottom of the list, right?
I think so. I mean,
I gotta put this on a note. By the way, if you're still watching and you're in the chat,
give us your own list and heckle us.
You can throw in your list. We will read them.
Heckle us,
or if we say you can make cases for people. I don't know. I should have asked that when we had callers, like who their favorite classic doctor was. Do you all agree? I mean, it seems like it's universally accepted. Colin Baker, that run of Doctor Who is one of the worst. Is there anyone out there? Because I've met someone in real life, and Colin Baker's their favorite Doctor. Not the audio stories like I'm talking about, straight up. And I'm sure that's when they were a little kid they watched it. But what do you guys think in the chat? So I'm gonna put down Colin Baker on the bottom. Dan, do you disagree?
I am with you on that.
Here's where it's going to get interesting.
Everything else beyond this is going to be interesting.
Because I feel like you're going to put Peter Davison here, which is going to freak people out.
I'm not actually. At the 8th spot, I'm going to put in Peter Cushing.
Really? I thought he was pretty good.
No, there's nothing wrong with him. Here's my reasoning.
I was going to put Patrick Troughton's going to make an appearance.
I know he's going to be
pretty low on the list for me, and and probably so is Hartnell.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I enjoy Peter Cushing.
I enjoyed him.
No, I guess you're right.
Immensely.
You're right.
I
Like,
enjoy him.
there's so many good.
There's not enough
Yeah.
of him, and it's so out of the continuity of the rest of the characters. What I like about some of the later, everything after Hartnell, everyone had to make choices about how they were going to portray this character, what parts they're going to keep, and how they're going to make it their own. Cushing didn't have to do that. Also, obviously, Hartnell didn't, but Hartnell had his own challenge of like trying to launch a series. Cushing didn't have the same challenge. He's trying to make a film adaptation that pays absolutely no mind to everything else. So as much as I like him, because it's so far out of the realm of everything else, I put him towards the end. Still better than Colin Baker for my money. How do you feel about that though? Hair of the Hound says he cannot believe we're attempting the list, which is
we have to do the list.
Do we?
I have.
Do we know?
Yes, we do. We have.
Okay.
I will give you my list. I have a list right here.
Keep going.
So we have Colin Baker on the bottom.
Yes.
Then we have Peter Cushing.
Yep.
And I would say okay to that.
Okay.
This is where it's hard to throw Paul McGann on it.
I know.
Because I feel like you got Eric Roberts. Okay, that's fantastic.
It's not about the show. It's not about
it's
the movie.
It's not great. However, Paul McGann I like as an actor, and he does the best that he can do with that role.
Yep.
And he does even better when he's used again in newer Who, especially like that short where he's with the Sisters of Karn or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But is it fair to include that?
Yes, he's the doctor there. Absolutely.
I guess. So, do I like him more than Hartnell? I mean, there's so many more.
Here's a
Hartnell.
clarification from Hair of the Hound.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the actor or the era? And I think to me,
that's
it is
excellent.
kind of the same. It is all of that together.
I feel like we have to do the era because it's
the actor.
Like Colin Baker's not
era,
a bad actor.
No,
Colin Baker's not a bad actor, but yet he's on the bottom. It's got to be the era.
But as the actor, he made choices that I think were just terrible. Not entirely his fault. Director, producer, script, all the things that go into it. It's an ensemble to produce it, but he's the one that made the choices. And no, I don't think he's a bad actor at all. I just don't like the choices he made as the Doctor. So that's why he's for me. So anyway, so we got that. So then what do we have at 7?
All right. So we have you said Colin Baker, Peter Cushing, Troughton.
Wow.
Hartnell. Wait, Troughton, Hartnell, or Paul McGann. Those are the 3 that could take the next spot.
Wow, that's not at all my list at all. But if we're talking about trying to agree, then I would go with Paul McGann because he was at 7 for me.
Yeah, and plus he's only been in one. He's only been in the one movie, so it's like
the one movie and a couple.
There are great Hartnell stories.
Absolutely.
Where he's fantastic.
And he also changed because he had so much time.
And he started it.
He also had a chance to refine the character over time. And if you were to say Hartnell from the first season versus Hartnell from his last season, different characters.
Yeah. That's why I put Hartnell above Troughton.
Yes, I do as well.
However, I like Peter Davison more than I like both of those guys. I certainly like that era more.
Wow.
And I know you have certain issues with him.
With who? Which I'm sorry, I was reading the chat.
With Peter Davison.
Yes.
I put Peter Davison above Hartnell and Troughton, which pushes them down because there's more doctors.
I had Davison as 6 for me. He was the next one on my list.
All right. So
again, though, Davison is another one where
6, 7. Is it 8 doctors that we're doing?
We're doing 9 doctors total.
So who am I missing?
Cushing.
Tom Baker, John Pertwee, Davison, Hartnell, Troughton, McCann, Cushing, Baker. McCoy. I'm missing McCoy.
Oh, okay. You bastard.
Yeah, my list did not change. I mean, it's the order didn't change. Like,
woof. Okay. So.
Fine. Do you want me to give you my list and then you can give me your list?
Go for it.
We'll do it.
Okay.
All right. So starting at the bottom, Colin Baker.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Then we said Peter Cushing.
Sure.
Then we've got Paul McCann.
Okay.
McGann.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Then Patrick Troughton.
Wait, hang on. Troughton. So you got Troughton at 6. Okay.
Yep. Then Hartnell
at 5. Okay.
Then Davison.
Wow.
Then McCoy.
Then
Pertwee, and then Tom Baker. Obviously, I don't think that's a surprise for anyone that I would put him over that.
Interesting. Okay. Then mine, starting from the bottom.
And
Okay, go ahead.
The Hartnell-Troughton
This is
thing,
interesting.
I do Hartnell first because he started it.
Yeah.
We talked about the Mind Robber. Mind Robber's awesome. So is Tomb of the Cybermen.
Right.
But when I think about all of our reviews, I think about me constantly complaining of the whining and the...
Yes, you do. You really do.
And like that did bother me.
A lot.
And so like if I was going to rewatch a show, I don't know, because then it's like you get pulled into sort of what the Hair of the Hound is saying with the error, like, oh, I like Jamie.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, oh God, this sucks. This list sucks. Why did I bring?
But then you got to think about like Enemy of the World, where you got Troughton just like absolutely demolishing it, like just. So
you can.
I know.
But from the chat it says, if this gets on the internet, everyone's getting canceled. You can 100% release this on the internet. I don't care if a whole bunch of Doctor Who fanboys want to destroy me. So, Tom Baker, number 1. All right, so let's talk more about who comes next then.
Okay, so for me,
Paul McGann.
I've got obviously Baker.
Give me your list.
Baker, Cushing, McGann. That's where we were together. 6 for me. Oh wait, yeah, I'm 6 for me.
Colin
Six
Baker. You're starting from the bottom.
Sorry,
yeah.
6 for me is Davison. He just
okay.
He got better over time for my tastes. I'm not saying anything like actually, about the.
Were you turned off by the celery in the lapel?
No, that's the only part I really liked. I ranked the celery above him. He's 5. The celery's 5 on my list. I feel like, and again, not the actor's fault necessarily, just the time. There was just, I think it felt like a little lost about what they were trying to do. I don't know. Just off the top of my head, because you asked me to do this, and I tried not to give it any thought beforehand, so this is my first stab at it.
So for your perspective, you really aren't doing the error. Or the episode of the
both.
story. Like,
it's both.
There's no world in which you're saying, I got to watch an old episode of Doctor Who, and you're not going to go to a Peter Davison story before you're going to put on some old Hartnell story. There's no way
that's true.
that you're putting on, with the exception of the Gunslinger, which I did watch under the influence.
Here's my criteria. It's all vibes, man. I don't know. It's off the top of my head. This is where I'm feeling at the moment. You ask me tomorrow, it's going to be something totally different. So then after Davison, I'm going to go with Troughton after that. So Troughton's above Davison for me. Above that would be Pertwee. Then Hartnell. Mostly.
Hold on. I'm keeping track of your list here.
So
who did you have above Peter Davison?
This is so stupid.
This is the best thing we've ever done.
Troughton.
Okay.
At the 4th spot coming in with a bullet is Pertwee. I'm sorry, Eric. Pertwee's at 4.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Despite the judo chops.
Yep. Which, actually now that we talk about it, I would switch that. I would say Hartnell first and then Pertwee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hartnell and then Pertwee.
I was giving Hartnell so much of the benefit of the progenitor of the role that you're right. I would not go back and watch. I would watch a Pertwee before I'd watch a Hartnell story. Though, to be fair, I will rewatch none of them.
But you've got Hartnell in front of Troughton.
I do.
Because that's where I'm sort of teetering, where I may flip them, but then the whining. Okay,
I do.
Keep going.
And then I have I have Pertwee. Then at the 2 spot is McCoy for me, and at number 1, number 1 is Tommy Baker.
I honestly thought you were going to put McCoy as your number 1.
Yeah, no, it couldn't be. I absolutely did enjoy his run. It's one of the weirdest eras, like those 80s. It's just so bizarre, and I just wish it hadn't gotten canceled in the way that it had. If it had one more season to really wrap itself up, I just imagine what that would have been. But anyway, that's where I am. This is nuts.
So now that we have 2 lists, I don't have to worry about matching you.
Mm-hmm.
I did switch my Peter Cushing. I put over Paul McGann. Okay.
That makes sense.
I liked Peter Cushing.
Yeah,
and I liked him in this other thing, and I liked him. And he's got that. He's got like a way about him that I like. So the whole thing works. All right. So this is my list to get canceled by.
Yep.
Starting at the bottom.
Yep.
Colin Baker.
Yep.
Paul McGann.
Yep.
Peter Cushing.
Got it.
Patrick Troughton. William Hartnell.
Yep.
Peter Davison,
Yep.
Sylvester McCoy, John Pertwee, Tom Baker.
Tommy Baker, not the number 1
That's a
spot.
list that I could defend.
Which is pretty good.
And for Dan,
we're pretty close.
Your list.
My list again.
Do it.
Colin Baker at the bottom, followed by Cushing. No offense, Cushing. Sorry, didn't get enough to do. Paul McGann above that. Then we got Mr. Peter Davison. Then Patrick Troughton above that is Mr. William Hartnell. Then Mr. Pertwee. We got Sylvester McCoy at the number 2 spot and Tommy Baker at number 1. So that's it.
Oh, okay. We've got some feedback here going here on the air. Let's back up a little bit.
I think Patrick over McGann and Hartnell. Troughton influenced Davison. Chris Calloway says, I like it, but would put Davison over McCoy. It was more consistent where McCoy got stronger. Okay, and Troughton Whitey was more towards the end. The best were missing. I will take your word for that. When we came back and watched some of the other Troughtons, they were not that whiny Troughton.
That is true too. The point about so many of the Troughton ones are gone, are just been erased. So the gold just is there. We just haven't seen it. Okay, Harry the Hound needs a drink. I think we all do. Anyone want to share their? You don't have to do a full list.
Don't even do it. It's gonna cause issue. But okay,
you can just throw in your favorite doctor. Put your number 1.
Yeah,
we'll do that. 3 doctors, 3rd tier, 2 2nd tier. I'm not sure what that is. I'm reading these out of order. Do it more like a pyramid with your favorite at the top.
Oh, and stack them out. So you have tiers instead. So you don't have to actually put them against each other. That would have been smart,
right?
But we did not do it.
S tier and yeah. It's too late. We got a list.
Now we got a list.
The list has happened.
The list has spoken.
Give us your number 1.
Which is a thing I don't often say.
Okay, I think that's.
I think we did
give them some time. Dan, this is it. This is the end. We did our doctors. I can't think of any other things to delay the thing with.
We got Chris Calloway saying
it's over.
Tom Baker, John Pertwee as a very close second. Very good, very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. I do think we did it. So thank you for. Wow. Thank you for coming along with us on 147 episodes.
147 or 144. We're not quite sure. Plus 8 Sandmans. Plus,
well, we know no one listened to that, so that's cool.
We had. Did we do anything else? A couple of minis here and there. Needless to say, many hundreds of hours.
So many.
I'm happy to have spent it with Dan. Every 3 weeks. What started as every month, and then we moved to every 3 weeks. And I'm gonna be sad, Dan. I'm gonna be sad to.
I will be sending you a text.
Be done.
I'll be sending you a text in about 2.5 weeks saying, "Are we recording this Sunday or next Sunday?" Just like we do every 3 weeks or so. Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be making GIFs anymore.
I won't be making GIFs anymore.
Did you make GIFs?
I can't because I got the iTunes version, so I can't. Maybe I can do it from BritBox. Maybe I'll do
that. Oh God, yeah. Again, we mean it when we thank everyone for sticking with us through the rough times and the consistency. We never missed it. A lot of podcasts will miss shows.
We never missed one.
Right?
We never
missed one.
And we didn't even.
Or did we miss one?
No, I don't.
My dad got sick and died during this run. I did a podcast like days after he died.
Eric was recording it from the wake. We didn't even pre-record and bank them. Eric wouldn't even let me do that. I said, we're going to be away. Why don't we just record one in advance and we'll just put that up on the right date?
No, because of the blood oath.
We actually had to record it. There were some days when we recorded a Tuesday before we released on Wednesday. That happened. But we never missed one. That was our promise to you from the very beginning, and we kept it. And now the hobo curse has been lifted, Eric.
It is.
We're free.
We're done. We have to eat the poison.
Eat the poison.
Unfortunately,
I can't believe
we have to eat the poison.
This is all cyanide, folks.
I forgot to get my cyanide, so I will have to just gouge my eyes.
I trust that you will. Okay, sounds good. All right. Thank you, everyone, and thank you most of all, Eric, for keeping me on this. There were many times that I probably would have quit if it wasn't for you. So
yeah, there was a time I actually fired you, which you weren't aware of.
I kept showing up.
I just couldn't find. Yeah, I couldn't find another host. That you kept. Yeah, there was a couple of forms that needed to be signed. So Harry the Hound is saying it's time for the Manimal podcast. Now, I've always heard of Manimal.
Are we really not ending this episode? We're just
I know, I keep holding it, but I was going to say, I only know about Manimal from the show Get a Life, in which Chris Elliott would talk about the show Manimal. But I'm sure it involves a man who turns into an animal. It's better than me crying. Like,
let's review Get a Life instead. We'll just review Fox sitcoms from the early 90s. That's what we'll do.
Fantastic show.
That's great.
Handsome Boy Modeling School. Fantastic show. No, Dan, I guess this is it. This is the freedom, the moment where everything happens.
Yep.
Let's make contact. 3, 2, 1. Cut the feed.
We did it. Thank you, everyone.
All right, we did it. Goodbye, everyone. I will miss you all.
I'll miss you all too.
And then please stay in touch with us. Follow us on wherever.
We're leaving, but we're not
not going away. Only me would kill a podcast before my book comes out next year.
We'll be back.
That's probably not the smartest thing. Okay, yes.
We
love you.
We'll see you.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.